Welcome to Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide. Every journey holds a story. By sharing the wisdom of those who came before us, we keep their legacy alive for generations to come. Join me, Brennan Lane, as we explore the wild through the eyes of a Maine Guide. Welcome back to another episode of Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide with your host, Brennan Lane. We're down in Grand Lake Stream again, and we get the guest for this episode is Pete Mercier. Thanks for coming on board.
Yeah, not a problem.
So we'll get started there and have Pete give us a little bit of a background about himself and his business, then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, like Brandon said, my name is Pete Mercier. I'm relatively new to the professional guiding scene, but I've always been an outdoorsman. I was kind of a slow learner. I originally was planning on taking my guide's test about 20 years ago, but life got in the way, and I pushed it to the side, thinking I couldn't manage both, and I regret every second of it. So I think it was 5 years ago, I finally bit the bullet and went and took my test, and it's been great ever since.
Now, what business do you own?
I own Chet's Camps. It's a sporting lodge on Big Lake. We not a full 4-season camp. I do close down at the end of deer season, but other than that, it's housekeeping cabins. I have boat rentals. I guide out of there. My wife guides out of there, and if there are bigger parties that need more guides, and I usually try to employ a lot of the people right in town that are looking for days.
No, what kind of trips do you guys offer?
Mostly just fishing during the summer. I do a moose hunt or two in the fall. Bear hunting. I have a couple private baits that I will usually take on one to maybe 2 hunters in the bear season.
Mm-hmm. So you're mostly like cabin rentals and stuff.
Yep, primarily.
Now, did you buy the business or did you start it?
I did buy the business. I'm not exactly sure of the exact start date, but near as I can tell, it was in the 40s. I'm the fourth owner. So it's the story on that is my wife was friends with the previous owner, and we decided to sell our house just randomly, and so she was talking to my wife one day, and she said, "Hey, I know you're homeless, and I know you guys are outdoorsy and stuff. Would you like to come manage Chet's Camps for us? Because we don't really want it anymore." So for me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, I mean, they're going to pay me to work at a sporting lodge, something I've always wanted to do. So they're going to pay me to see if something I'm interested in or not, and I don't have to spend millions of dollars to do it. So for me, it was a win-win. So I managed for them for 2 years, a little over 2 years, I guess, and then they really started putting the pressure on me to purchase it, which I had reservations about, but they won, and it's been good. It's been a learning curve. There's been a lot of ups and downs emotionally, and it's taxing.
Yep. But a lot of that behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't see that you see while you're doing, especially starting out. You make a lot of mistakes and do a lot of wrong things before you figure out the right way of doing things.
Chet's wise, it's pretty good though. I would say roughly 90% of my clientele are repeats. Mm-hmm. I have several groups that are in the 30s and 40 years. I think I have 2 groups that are in 60 years.
60 years?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like they bring them back multiple generations?
They have started. Some of them are starting to age out now, but it's good to see. It's good to see their loyalty. They have Some of them are quirky. They have their same week, their same boat, their same cabin. It's like if you change a picture on the wall, they ask you about it.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd that picture go? So, but it's it's great seeing them now bringing in some of their grandchildren. So, but it's
It's nice to hear that there's still some of that going on out there, because that's what it's going to take to keep us in business, and for our kids to potentially be able to do it. When we're tired of doing it, is these people have been coming 50, 60 years,
right.
to start bringing the younger generation along with them and creating that tradition with them as well to carry on after they're gone.
Yeah, it's like I said, that was one of my reservations about buying Chet's, was just the look of the way things were going. Everybody seemed to be staying home more and on their phones and not caring about the outdoors. And after managing it for a couple of years, I was able to look at the age of the people that were coming. It's like, man, these guys are going to time out, But I have seen a steady influx of them bringing some younger generations in.
So it seemed like there was a lull in that, and then in the last couple of years, it's picked back up. Because like me and Brian was talking earlier, like he said the people in the front of the canoe, they're not getting no younger.
No,
they're really not. I mean,
true.
And that's one thing that is important for us going forward to really drive home and push, is getting that younger generation involved, getting them outdoors. Because without them, we won't be in existence in 20, 30 years.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Hey guys, shout out to Northwoods Outdoor Supply, proud sponsor of Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide podcast. If you guys find yourself in Aroostook County and need any ammunition, firearms, fishing supplies, or any outdoor supplies in general, swing in and see what they have. They have a large variety of firearms, ammunition, ice fishing supplies, regular fishing supplies, and just outdoor supplies in general. Stop in and talk to Brandon. If you don't have it, I'm sure he can get it for you. They're located right in the Martin's Plaza next to Martin's and Tractor Supply. So make sure you stop in and show your support and say hi.
For me, sometimes it's a double-edged sword with my guest. Just being there for so many years, it offers little opportunity for them to be guided. Once in a while, they'll just want to go out and have a meal or something. But they don't need a guide. I mean, they know the lake probably better than I do, a lot of them. So most of my guiding business, fishing-wise, is actually after fishing season is over. It's like this month I've been pretty steady with guiding because of the fishermen they come in June. So now I'm into like the family vacationers, and they're the ones that I'm more into paying for a guide, which is, I don't know, it's really rewarding for me because, I mean, as you know, you can take anybody that's fished out before, and they kind of take it for granted like we do. But when you take somebody brand new, and sometimes you got to teach them which end of the fishing pole to hold. And they go out and they catch a whole slew of fish, and it's like you can see that you've hooked them. So that's
when you see that fire get lit, like that's what makes it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna tell all my friends, and we're gonna, when we get old enough, we're gonna come back as a group, and so that's pretty awesome that way.
Now, you're part of the land trust too?
I am part of the land trust. I'm on the forestry committee, and I'm on the board of directors. I'm also a member of the Grand Lake Stream Guide Association and Maine Professional Guide Association.
Well, yeah, you're tied into a little bit of everything.
I try to spread it out.
You try to spread it out.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been a part of like the trust?
The trust has been relatively new. It was last fall that I was asked if I would be interested in forestry committee. So I joined the forestry committee, and then I think it was probably a month, and month and a half, 2 months, Dale told me, he said, I need to have a meeting with you. I said, okay. I thought I did something
That's
wrong.
never good when Dale's
Yeah,
have a meeting.
you know how Dale is. He's
Yeah.
kind of short and to the point. Like, oh, what have I done? So I went. He said, well, we've been talking, and we'd really like to have you on the board of directors. He said, we need to bring things back around local. We need to, get it back to the guide routes, and we think you'd be beneficial. So I thought about it for about a week, and I said, yeah. I said, if everybody, people don't like the way things are going, but no one is willing to step up to change it, then what's the point? So I said, yeah, I'll join the board of directors, and I think we've been making headway since.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's good. It's a very special thing you guys have down here.
It's unique. I mean, just the amount of land that is open for us to use. I mean that's our paycheck. So the bigger the spread, the easier it is to make some money. So it's awesome.
You guys got your own little special piece of heaven.
Yeah.
Down here that will always be here.
Right. No, I agree.
What's like the main reason why you decided to jump ship and go to this lifestyle?
Like I said, I always grew up in the woods. My stepdad was a logger all of my life, so I grew up working in the woods with him and being able just to experience, nature firsthand, watch animals and how they interact not only with people but equipment, and it's always been a lifestyle in this area anyway. I mean, from the time that I could carry a gun, I grouse hunted and been an avid deer hunter for forever. So for me, it was wanting to help people be able to experience what I take for granted. Was the main reason. And of course, all my friends, you're so good at this. You've helped us out. Why don't you become a guide? So, and I was very hesitant because, one, I really don't like being around a lot of people, especially that I don't know. So between owning Chet's and becoming a guide, I've grown a lot in that area. You have to.
I hear you there. 'Cause I'm the same way. I'm not a people person.
Yeah.
Like, put me in the woods, and
Right.
that's where I want to be. I don't want to be around people.
It's quiet and a little bit of snow, a fresh deer track. I mean, I can be gone for a week and not miss anybody. So,
but that's the difference. So, like, people hear me say that all the time. Like, well, you're a people person. No, I'm not a people person.
right.
Like, we get different people here every 5 to 6 days. 3 days are on rotation. So it's not the same people time after time, and you
Right.
get these bonds with these people, and it's almost like some people you could be with for a month and be perfectly fine. Some people 3 days and you're ready to
That's
be
way too
gone,
much.
but then you can't wait for them to come back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everyone has that limitations, and I'm far from a people person. Like doing this whole podcast thing and everything else, like that's way out of my element.
Yeah.
But it's one of them things, like, to me, it's important to have this and have the history and have these conversations recorded to people like you that, well, I'm not a people person. I don't
Right.
want to do it. Like, get this out there. Let's educate
Yeah.
these younger generation, because without this younger generation coming up, we're not going to be here.
Right. No,
You know what I mean? And it's important for people to be able to hear the actual true life struggles of being a camp owner or a guide and making a go of it and that stuff. And like you mentioned earlier, there was a lot of blood, sweat, emotion, tears, everything that went into it.
Yep.
And anybody that can honestly tell you it's been peaches and cream the whole time, they are lying right through the piece.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing peaches and cream about it. Like there is a lot of stress, a lot of emotion, and everything that takes to go through this, and it makes me happy when I can talk to someone else of the same generation and hear them say the same things that we went through. I mean, and we do it. And you said it already there. We don't do it for the money. I mean, obviously it's our job.
Right.
Like, that's why we do it. but it's for that spark that you light in that kid that might be 12 years old and looks at you, and he might never fall through with it because when he comes old enough to be able to get his friends together, maybe he ain't gonna do it. But just to know that that kid looked at you and said, "Can't wait till we get older to bring my buddies and all this stuff up, and we're gonna come up and carry this tradition on."
Yep.
Well, whether he can actually do that and follow through with it, you lit that spark in him
Right.
to get out, and now he's gonna push his parents, his grandparents, more and more to start doing this, and like that's the stuff that it's exciting,
Right.
Because that's the future of the outdoor industry, whether it's sporting camps or guiding or what it is, the trust. I mean, all them young sparks that we can light, like that is excelling our future. I mean, we're the old, like me and Brian was talking earlier, the older generation has already built this up to where it is.
Right.
Now they pretty much have passed the torch to us. Now it's our responsibility for our generation to put it forward and be as successful and go as far as they have and be able to keep the heritage that we have alive. You know, and
That's scary, because I don't want the point of failure to be on my generation. So it's a big task that we all need to embrace.
well, and I mean, you look at like your guides. 90% of your guides that are out there nowadays are your true guides are all older.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few people our generation that are guides. A lot of them might have a guide's license, but they haven't taken the leap that me and you have taken.
Right.
And they get the license to say they've had it, and they might help a friend on a moose hunt or do this or that, but they are stuck in that security level that we've failed still to shit fire on between it, and we're so not unsecure, but like our security right now is everything we have is invested.
Right.
And I can't blame them for doing that, but we need more people like that will jump ship and push us through. And I mean, you give it another 30, 40 years, we're going to be them old guys sitting in front of the canoe that ain't getting no younger.
Right. No.
And it don't sound like much, but I'm halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm more than halfway there. So.
I weren't going to say that, but I kind of figured.
I know. Back to the original question, why I got into guiding. An old guide in the area that has, he really took me under his wing there for a while. Roger Milligan, kind of a legend in the area.
He'll be on tomorrow.
And Roger and I have spent countless hours together, and I mean, he's taught me a lot over the years. So there's no doubt that I would be a different person, a different guide without the wisdom that Roger has given me.
And that's the other thing. Like you mentioned that, like we all have these role models, or whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, that we follow to shape us to where we are. And the biggest thing is, if someone's willing to teach you and take you under their wing and show you the ropes, the biggest thing I can say is listen to them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, don't talk. Like you listen with the ears, not with your mouth. Like listen and let them go, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. But I guarantee you, you're going to pick one thing out of what they said if you listen, and that will change your life going forward.
I agree. And that's advice I have for my kids. I said, when Mr. Milligan talks, you listen. I said, it doesn't mean you have to do it, but listen. You can always tweak things, make it your own. But the core principle is going to be there.
Yep.
And what you do with it is up to you, but you need to listen.
Yep. So. No, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, because there's so many. Like, I mean, with me being a part of the Guides Association, I've been around so many people that I'm board members and just the older guides and that stuff to like talk to. And like Dale's one. I mean, you got Dale, you got Don Dudley, Donnie Hellstrom.
Yep.
This whole list of people that the network that I've been able to attach myself to and learn from. And it's crazy because, I mean, we can be sitting in a meeting there, and when Don Dudley starts talking, the room goes quiet.
Quiet, yeah.
Like, everyone listens. And it's one of them things that he's gained the respect, and the trust of everybody. And you listen to them people, and you don't have to do the way they did it 30 years ago.
Right.
But there's one way, shape, or form, I guarantee, like you said, you take that core principle of what they're saying, and you'll be able to use that in your own way and make you that much more successful.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And and you need the wisdom of these old guys. It's like, even, I try to use this as an example, like the Grand Lake canoe. The concept is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
The technology has changed.
Yeah.
But it's still there. The original concept is there. So these old guys that learn to do this the hard way, that are willing to share their knowledge with you, I mean, it should be, it should be more than embraced.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah. So you mentioned something about getting some fresh snow and getting on a deer.
Mm-hmm.
You got any interest in tracking stories or anything you like to
We don't get the snow around here anymore.
I tell you, you got the deer, though. I see more deer last night driving in here than I've seen in the last 2 months, I think, up home.
I mean, the past 10 years, I mean, if you get a trackable snow, it's rare. And unfortunately, the few times that we have gotten it over the past 10 years, I've been working, so I haven't really.
That 4-letter word gets in the way of a lot of things.
I know, but.
Are you still? So you're still working full time?
No.
That's why you ain't getting no snow.
I was juggling a full-time job. I was a full-time maintenance man in a paper mill in Woodland, and a camp owner. And it got to the point where I absolutely hated my job. I was like, if I don't get done one of them, I'm gonna kill somebody. I mean, just plain and simple. And I knew I wasn't going to stay with the corporate environment. If anything was going to get me back right again, it was going to be the outdoors. So after a long conversation with my wife and a few little battles on my end, she was 100% for me getting done, forever ago. But it's that security thing, like you was talking about. It's like, you got a paycheck coming in, you got insurance, and you got your schedule.
It's nice to go to work, and when you leave your problems behind.
Yeah.
Like that was with me when I worked at the paper mill this winter. Yeah. Like that's the best thing I loved about it.
Right.
I'd go there and someone would break. When that clock touched around time for me to leave, guess what? I forgot it all. I went home.
Right.
Doing what we do.
Yeah.
If something breaks, when we go home for supper, we don't just sit down and watch TV. No. Now we're the ones trying to figure out what's going on there.
Right. But it was last July. It was like July 4th. I had enough, and that was my last day. So trying to connect the dots after getting done a full-time job and going fully into this. It's been great. I've been able to focus all of my attention on the camps and guiding, and change some things that I've been wanting to change. Not that they didn't work, but
you see your passion grow for it, don't you?
Yeah.
When you don't have nothing else bringing in money,
right?
And this is the only thing you have bringing in money, your whole outlook changes on it. Your appearance on your camp, the way you do things, and like the upgrades, and that all changes when this is your sole priority. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, not that anything was wrong. The way things that the previous owners run things was great, but with my wife and I looking at things, well, we think we could do things a little bit different and a little bit better. Make it a little more, not only efficient for us, but make it more us.
Attractive for the younger generation. Yeah. We did the same thing up home there. I mean, it was, then we're the third owners, and Allagash Guide Service has been run since, I think, the 80s, in 70s, 80s, whatever it was there. But you adapt and change over time to the lifestyles, the technology, and all this stuff. I never ever thought at a sporting camp I'd have Starlink at all the cabins and Wi-Fi and like all this stuff. Like you wouldn't. When we first got up 10 years ago, we had no one ask us, about Wi-Fi or TV
That's
or
usually
whatever.
the first thing now. What's a Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, like legit. Like now you walk into the camps and the Wi-Fi password's on the front door or wherever it is there, and like that's one of the things that we kind of had to adapt to.
We have
to get them younger generation because once you leave like our camps where we are, there's no cell phone service. Once you leave the camp, you're nothing.
Nothing.
So like and then that's one of the ways that I see like the families and stuff have been able to not been able but are starting to come more because like they come and then it's that happy medium.
Right.
The kids and them, it'd be a business owners and that stuff, still can check emails and do that stuff and go out, but when they come back they know they have it.
Right.
You know, and that's a big plus.
Yeah, they don't have total separation from what they're used to.
Yeah, it's not like they're not having withdrawals. Like, I mean, you won't see some people have withdrawals. Like, some of the Allagash trips, there are a lot of the, probably 50% of the people, because, like, once we leave, they're like, oh, there's no cell. I said, yeah, no, you ain't getting cell phone service. Well, it's going to be like 3 days. Yeah, put your your phone on airplane mode because you ain't getting cell phone service. Yeah. And as we're getting closer there, you see them like they looking at the phone. I'm like, yeah, you get about another mile. The last mile you get cell phone service, and then after that it's just game on. But that's quite comical there. Usually I don't even take my phone personally off airplane mode till I get home, get everything unpacked and all that stuff, and then once I do, it's ding 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 ding.
I'm horrible at that. I mean, half the time I spend 2 days looking for my phone, or if I look at a text message, especially from like Brian, if I don't answer it immediately, it'll be like 3 days. It's like, oh, I forgot to text him back. So I'm absolutely horrible at that. But
hey, Al here. I just want to take a minute to talk about our wool gear. Our Big Woods Bucks wool gear it's the best value there is on the market. We have 100% virgin wool clothing, whether it's our packs, pants, jackets, whatever. The virgin wool it's the natural fiber from the sheep, and it wraps into a tight thread. That's what makes it waterproof, pretty much wind resistant, and comfortable to wear. It's quiet for hunting, especially in the big woods. You can't find anything better than wool clothing. So we have ours. It's all made in USA with all U.S. accessories and everything. We've got, years of experience guiding and it's thought that's going into this stuff. So we've tried to keep the average hunter in mind and kept the price point at where people can afford it. We hope you enjoy it. Wear your woolies, caught in his death.
It's still all right. We're still friends.
Yeah. So you don't have any interest in guiding stories?
I mean,
whether it's deer
hunting. Like I said, I don't do any guiding for deer hunting just because of the area. In town, there's a million deer, but you get in some of the backwoods in November. I mean, the mature buck population is on the lower end. It is the past few years. It's gotten considerably better. I don't know. My favorite thing to guide is moose, and I've had the opportunity to guide this one gentleman in particular. He was an older gentleman. He was, I think, 75-ish, and he was from Pennsylvania, and he'd been on 3 failed moose hunts in the past. 1 in Alaska, 2 in Newfoundland. So he come into this moose hunt with expectations to fail. So that was tough right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So in talking to this gentleman, I said, okay, so what do you want? What do you want to experience? He said, I want to be able to look him right in the eye. He said, I want to see his antlers shaking, his ears pinned back, stuff running down his legs. I said, oh, okay.
You want the full experience.
You want the full experience. So I said, all right. I said, we'll see what we can do. And a gentleman of that age doesn't really have a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
So this took me a lot of preseason scouting and, like I said, a lot of hours with Roger Milligan, and I think he kind of gave me a couple of his old honey holes. But I was able to take this gentleman there and first morning, it was like, I think it was 6:01. I think legal time was 6:01. First time I let out a call, I had bull come charging right out. But it wasn't to his liking.
No.
I was like,
Was
all
it not
right.
put on a good enough show, or was it?
No, he didn't really like the Palmation. I mean, it wasn't really big enough. So I said, all right. So we let that one pass and hunted around for the rest of the day. Didn't really see anything. Next day, we see a bunch of cows, and Wednesday, we actually just left lunch. I took him into the Milligan family camp. They got a nice camp on the St. Croix River at Spendick Falls. So we had a nice big lunch, but it was like warm. It was one of those afternoons that you don't even want to hunt. It was like 75. It was like, this is going to be horrible. We ate lunch, got in the truck, started driving out the road. Got about a mile from the camp, and I looked up the road, and I said, there's your trophy moose right there on the road. That was one of the biggest animals I'd ever seen. It was big mature bull with a cow and a spike bull. So this guy sitting in the front seat of the truck, he digs out his binoculars. He said, I'm not shooting that. He said, it's only got one antler. I said, okay. I said, look to the left of that one. And he's digging around. And he said, oh, I see it. He said, but I'm not going to shoot it from the truck. I'm not going to shoot it on the road. I said, what do you mean? I said, you're not going to get a bigger moose, anywhere here than that one. He said, that doesn't feel like hunting to me.
No. Did he explain to you why you get skunked in Alaska?
Well, and that's
like
that's
he's
what
going trait here.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, this is why he's been on failed moose hunt. He didn't tell me he was like going to be like super picky and have all these stipulations. So he let it walk. It was like 100 yards, right in the middle of a nice gravel road.
Yeah. A logging road, and like up here, just for people that don't understand, that might be listening, like we can, in Maine, any unorganized township or any gravel road, you can discharge a firearm from.
Right.
Like they're not highways, they're single track gravel roads.
I mean, I say a well gravel road, but like if this road has one vehicle a day on it.
For us, a gravel roads, but they're not no I-95 or no city street or nothing like that.
So that was really disappointing to me. So the next day, I actually took him back to the place where we were the first morning. I called one in, and I'd had a conversation with him. I said, okay, so what are you willing to shoot? Because, I guess we should have clarified this before. And we hashed all that out. At first light, started calling, and I had one moose answering on one side of me and another moose answering on the other side of me. And they were both coming. I was like, this could be interesting. So the one to the right of us, he was more aggressive, and he really started thrashing, and he really started coming. And I got the guy set up on his shooting sticks, and I said he's gonna be barreling right through here. So sure enough, like 40 seconds after that, here comes a moose. He comes up over this bank, and I mean, I could tell it was a shooter. It was more than 50 inches wide. So I told him, I said, this is going to be your moose. Had beautiful palms. I mean, everything he was looking for. So I keep watching this moose, and he keeps getting closer and closer. It started out about 30 yards. Now we're at 20 yards. And I'm standing there behind this guy, and he's not shooting. 15 yards. It's like 10 yards. And I'm starting, because I'm a guy sub per me. So I'm starting to take out my handgun. I was like, this is going to get dangerous.
Yeah.
So finally, about 8 yards, the guy shoots. And it was a good shot. The moose ran off about, 10 yards and died. I was like, oh my goodness. It was very stressful. But for being an older gentleman, it's like the emotion that he had after doing that is like he just sat down and started crying. He said, I never thought it was going to happen to me. And so I mean, that was one of the most gratifying ones for me because I was able to give him exactly what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the scenario and Stink. Whew, I mean, that moose he was ready for a fight.
Why did he shoot at 30? Why did he wait for it to get to 8 yards? Did he say?
He didn't. I was like, he just wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was one of the scenes like on the hunting shows. You know, head swaying back and forth. You know, all you could see was whites in his eyes, and you know, just snot and stuff flying out of him everywhere. It was like, and afterwards I told the guy, I said, "You really don't know how dangerous that this was." I said, "You know, you should have really shot the first time we saw him. You knew he was a shooter." But he said, "Well, it worked out," and it did. But
He's probably at the point though where he's had it for. He said this was his 4th time.
yeah,
And probably I wouldn't say couldn't care less whether he got one or not, but like he wanted to probably witness everything and take everything in
Right.
as long as he could. I mean, he had 4 years leading up to it, and he didn't want it to be over just like that.
right. I mean, I think he'd wounded a moose in Alaska because in his younger years, he was a bow hunter.
Okay.
So he wounded a moose in Alaska, and I think a day or two later, one of the other sports ended up shooting it. And he said the outfitter really gave him a hard time because he ended up shooting one of the hams or something with an arrow, and so he just had a bad taste about a lot of it. But and it was super gratifying to be able to help him out.
There's nothing like that. When someone appreciates it, there's nothing like that feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things that I'll say it. I said it a million times, and that's one of the things that keeps me going. Mm-hmm. It's just like you might run 20 people, and out of the 20, you get that one that just over the top, like appreciates it, gets it, and everything else. That makes up for the 15, 20 people before that that were just like, yeah, I killed a bear, or I killed a moose, or I killed a deer. Like that one puts it over the top for you, and that gives you that next push to look for next year.
Right. No, it does, and I mean I've been pretty lucky. All my moose clients have been extremely grateful.
The zone 19?
Zone 19, which it can be a tougher zone, but the past few years, 19 has been a trophy class zone.
Some of the biggest, I think, actually, I don't know if I want to say the biggest, but some of the biggest, the majority of the biggest moose have come from 19, was it 1921?
1911 is north of Route 6. South of here is 28.
Yeah, 20. Okay, so yeah, 19 and 28, like this demographical area. Like last year, there was a couple killed down here in the mid 60s, if I recall.
Yeah. The Toby Brook Guide Service got a few of them that was 61 to 63 inches.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a pretty big moose nowadays for me.
It's a big moose.
That's a big moose.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 50-inch nowadays is something to write home about.
Right.
I mean, I remember back when the 50s were, it's a 50-inch moose. Like, people didn't stop or get excited unless it was a 60. Well, that 60's turned into 50. The 50 has turned into a 40. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the age structure and that stuff. But by what we're seeing up home, I think the age structure is finally starting, to get staggered back to where it is there. Because, I mean, we had, like, this year from, like, shed hunting there, a lot of them 4.5, 5.5-year-old bulls that we were finding for sheds. Mm-hmm. And, like, those they're starting to get back there.
Yeah.
So, like, especially as wet as it's been this year and everything else, antler growth is a lot of nutrition and all that stuff, and the greens and that. So antler growth should be good this year. So I'm excited to see what this fall brings.
Yeah, me too.
It's something new every year.
Yeah, I wish the season would be longer, just because of that's my favorite. But
you guys have September down here too.
We have September, the September week, and the October. The October week is the way the calendar falls. It's tougher. I mean, it's post rut, and last year. The October hunt in 19 was very tough. I don't know what it was up around you guys.
Cold, snowy, wet. Like, I mean, it was it was tough there, but a lot of it was just like the weather conditions. I mean, I remember waking up in the wall tent. I think it was open in the morning. It was either Monday morning, Tuesday morning. It hit my head off the top of the tent. I'm like, what's going on here? We walk outside, unzip the tent there, and there's like 6 inches of heavy, wet snow on the ground. I'm like, no wonder why the ceiling's sagging in here a little bit. Like, it come out of nowhere.
Yeah, for us, like I said, it was post rut, and all the mature bulls were cowed up, and it's almost impossible to call one off a cow. There were a few smaller bulls you was able to call, but it was a tougher hunt.
Nothing like a September hunt.
No, there isn't. No, I just wish some of the weather would be a little more cooperative.
I know. Mother Nature sucks when it comes to weather, don't it?
I mean, you get a 1,000-pound bull down, and you look at where it is, and it's like, I got 5 hours to get this thing to the truck, and then another 4 hours to get to the tagging station.
So where do you guys gotta go to tag gear?
Well, last year we could tag it rate and weight, but that tagging station, that whole store is actually closed. So I'm not sure about this year. I think the closest is probably going to be Smith's in Springfield.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a haul.
It is. I think it's either going to be Smith in Springfield, or I think there's one on Route 9. I think it's P&J Grocery or something at Tag Moose.
No. That's 2 hours, hour and a half?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a poke either direction.
Yeah.
That's kind of... Has anybody looked into it? Like,
I don't really know. I don't really know. I mean, there are several smaller tagging stations, like the Pine Tree store in town. They do bear and deer, but I don't know if they checked into doing moose. The hardware store in town, Princeton Variety, they do bear and deer, but no moose.
So you got any moose hunts booked for this year?
I do. I have September week this year. A gentleman from Colorado, another older gentleman. He seems like he's going to be less particular. He said he's been on a couple failed ones in the past. He said mostly from Newfoundland. He said everything they tried to get him to shoot there was extremely small, a spike or a crotch, and he said he passed on them this year. He said anything with somewhat of a palm he'd be interested in. Mm-hmm. So, 30-inch or bigger.
It's amazing how the expectations change too from Monday to Friday.
It is.
Like, it takes a real hardcore, dedicated hunter to look at you and say, all right, I'm not going home unless I shoot something that's 45 inches above.
Right.
And to pass on moose. But in order to kill the big ones, you got to let the little ones go. Because you're never going to kill a big one if you kill a little one.
That is correct. And I mean, I do tell people, I said, look, 19, I mean, there are moose, but there's not a lot of moose. So my recommendation is don't pass something on Monday that you're going to be willing to shoot on Thursday. Because if you passed it on Monday, we're probably not going to see it again.
Well, and if you passed it on Monday, why shoot it on Thursday?
Right.
Like you already passed it once. Why shoot it on Thursday?
Right.
That's.
But people get nervous, like you said. It's like, But I mean, a lot of magic can happen that last hour on Saturday.
I mean, this is a little funny story. I know I haven't told this one before. So I was moose hunting. And it was in zone 1 tag. And this guy there, and he's gonna get this 50-inch moose and put it on his mantle and his camp up in where the White Mountains there. And like wanted this beautiful bull. Weren't shooting nothing small. Opening day, we go into this one spot, and then we walked like 300 yards in off the road, and we called in this, I don't know, mid-30s, low 40s, little scrub bull. I mean, he was all busted up, paddles busted and that stuff. Right within 15 yards of us, and walked right by, and he never shot him. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, well, this guy's actually sticking to his guns. Like, this is going to be nice. So we get back to the truck there, and we go to the next spot. When we get there, it's like 8:30. Walk in off the end of this old road there, and we're down these old hardwood chops, and I start calling, and all of a sudden I hear a moose grunt, and another grunt, and another grunt. Well, now it's getting close. Like, I mean, I'm like, this thing is running at us, and like we're trying to look around. I turn around and look to figure out where it was, and the thing ran right past my truck, down the road, past my truck, and it's coming at us. And I'm like, that thing don't even have the antlers. And it's getting closer, and then it jumped down across the little brook and made a big loop around us trying to catch our wind. And I could see then it was just a little crotch one. The thing starts coming up, and he gets 30 yards from us. And this is October. So, like, normally, like, October is not the best. And, like, I'm saying to myself, man, this is 2 moose within the first 3 hours of legal shooting time. You know, we're going to be on for it. And it was a father and a daughter. And the daughter is probably our age, mid-30s, early 40s. And she's standing with me, and he's, like, 5 feet from us there. And we're, like, talking back and forth. And I said, I'll mess with it a little bit and see if he'll put on a show for you guys. So he starts rolling the eyes in the back of his head, just ripping the ground up, going berserk there. We messed around with him for probably 5 minutes, and I figured, like, in the meantime of doing that, if there was something else there, it might get their attention, and, you know, natural decoy. Well, we're standing there just watching him there, and he didn't even care we was there. Like, he was, I think, more focused on what we was. And all of a sudden, you hear, bang, gun goes off. And, like, I'm standing there, like, disbelief, and the moose is just standing there. And I'm looking around, I look at the daughter, and I'm like, she's like, I didn't shoot. And I look over at her father, and her father's jacking a shell out of the gun. And I look at him, I'm like, did you just shoot? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what did you shoot? And, like, we're having this conversation, like we are now talking in a loud voice. He's like, that moose standing right there. And I turn back around, and I look, and you can see the blood start coming out behind the moose's front shoulder. I'm like, well, you better finish it before it's done. So he took one more shot, and the thing fell over right there. We walked down to it. We're sitting there, and I'm like, what happened to passing up, like, and waiting? And he's like, I couldn't take the excitement no more. I said, what do you mean? He's like, that thing put on such a show. He's like, I just couldn't take it no more. And it was a little awkward there between the kids and the dad for a while because they were, like, under the impression that this is what was going to do. And we got it all situated there. And I kind of, I don't want to say resolve, but relax the situation there. And we get back, we quarter it up, we pack it out there, and we're all having a good time. I get back to the lodge, and we tag it. And he's like, he said something about taxidermy there. And I'm like, yeah, you want to taxidermy? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, and Troy, the taxidermist we used, had a moose hunt. He literally was tagging his moose that he just shot that morning himself. And he was tagging that there. I'm like, well, Troy's standing right there. So he walks over and he tells Troy, yeah, I want a shoulder mount down of it. And, like, I guess long story short where I'm going with it, like, the guy went from not shooting nothing unless it's a booner to killing a crotch horn. And that crotch horn now is sitting on his stone fireplace in the White Mountains at his
just as excited
skiing resort or whatever the heck it is that he put it there. Just as exciting, but, like, as a perspective, like, for me, like, I'm sitting there like, this is awesome. This is an October hunt. We got 2 that's coming. Like, we're gonna be able to kill one of these giants there. And it was just boom, done and over with. And I'm like, as if, like, it's just one of them. But that's how it is. People change your opinion as long as they're happy. I don't care what.
That's right. As long as they're smiling at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yep. So he's got that mounted. He had moose meat, and they ended up staying, I think, the rest of the week. We went back up to the wall tents, and they went bird hunting. We rode around and might have called in a few more moose and rubbed a little bit of salt in the wound and said, hey, if you would have waited a couple of days, this right here would have been yours. And we had a good time, but it was interesting.
Yeah, that's what I try to do also with my clients. Like, if they tag out relatively quickly, I'll offer to take them fishing or wildlife tours or whatnot.
And that's the thing. Like, we tell most of our clients is, like, because the first thing they ask is, if we tag out early, do we have to leave? I'm like, no. Like, how we do it is, you book for the week. The camp's yours for a week. You're on vacation for a week. We encourage people to stay. Like, anything in our powers we can do, we'll do. And, I mean, if it's something extra that we got to do or find somebody to do or whatever, then we'll charge them maybe a little bit for a guide or whatever. They're for meals and lodging. They're there for the week anyways. And, like, and I tell people, like, I'm giving you the vacation I would want. If I come to you on a moose hunt and I kill a moose Monday, I've already taken the week off from work 9 times out of 10. in return, I would want you to be like, yeah, you got this place for a week, like hang out, relax, do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the place is yours. And a lot of people are amazed by that
Yeah.
because you hear some of these horror stories about them saying, well, I was here, or I was there, and as soon as we killed, we're gone.
In and out. Yeah.
Well, the difference between that operation and like what we're running is that operation's in it for the money.
Right.
We're in it for the relationships. We're in it for the, everything. We're in it for the right reasons. We're not in it for the paycheck.
You know, you gotta have the experience. If you don't have the full experience, then you're missing out.
Mm-hmm. And you can't get a full experience like being down here for a day or anywhere in the state of Maine for a day or two. You might get some of it, but you're not getting the real experience of what the area has to offer.
Yeah, you're scratching the surface.
And you've already taken the time off, and that's one thing you're never going to get more of is time.
That's true.
So you're there, you might as well take and enjoy it while you're there.
It's like I've had a few people that have said, well, we're just going to leave. And I said, well, why don't you just relax for the day, get up in the morning, sit in the screen house with a cup of coffee, listen to the birds and the lake, and just think about it for an hour, and then make your decision after that. If you don't like the what you're hearing or what you're experiencing, then go ahead. But
that's like with us there. Like people will kill a bear, for instance, because we get a lot more bear hunters than anything, and they'll kill a bear on Monday, and they'll be like, "Well, we're gonna leave on Wednesday," and I'm like, "Well, why?" "Well, we'll get back home, get out of your hair." I'm like, the bear's not going to be cut up, and you won't get it back till Tuesday night, so you might as well stay Wednesday. It's going to be Friday before it's frozen, before you actually be able to go home with it. Before you know it, you can almost like talk them into staying.
Oh, yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, they do end up staying the full duration, because once they get there for a day and have time just to relax or help you carry bait or go out and put cameras up or whatever.
And I find that guys often appreciate that when you let them be a little more involved in what they're used to be. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that's just a little learning curves. I mean, because we all got something good, bad, or indifferent that we can teach somebody.
That's right.
You follow me around for a day, I'm probably going to teach you a lot of things you probably shouldn't do. Not that they're wrong, but done the hard way instead of the easy way.
Right.
And if you can learn from my mistakes, more power to you.
Yeah. It was like bear baiting wise. I mean, that's usually the biggest misconception that I think people have about baiting is like, all you got to do is throw a donut on the ground and you're going to have bears running to it.
If it was that easy, I'd be a billionaire right now.
What I mean is like anybody that, when you are able to take somebody out, carrying, a jug of fried grease in one hand and, a barrel full or a bucket full of donuts in the other, to do this. And then they said, how long you been doing this? Oh, a month or better. It took 2 weeks for a bear to show up, but I still lug all the bait because the raccoons lug it off. Then they appreciate it a little bit. Oh, it's not that simple? No.
And that's
not that simple at all.
Like you said, a lot of people think you just go drop a bucket of donuts here or whatever, and like that's a bait site and bears there. You get wind, you get location, you get all this other stuff that goes into it. Like it's not as simple as throwing a bucket of bait out the window as you're driving down the road and put a tree stand up.
Right.
Like there's a lot of work, and like for bear hunting, I say the work for me is start Saturday, right on to the hunting gets here. Once the first hunters arrive, I'm in vacation after that.
Right.
All your work's done.
All done, yeah.
Like all of your work's done is going up to it. The season itself is where it's still work, but it's not the labor intensive work that you have.
But you have the bears already committed.
They come in, like we whack at trails, we do all this and that, all that extra stuff. That's all done.
Yeah.
The hunters are here. Hey, we're going on the woods. We're hanging out with a group of like-minded people, and we have conversations, the stories and that stuff. Like we're the camaraderie, we're all enjoying it, and it's not work anymore. When I sit in that truck 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, with a half a ton of bait in the body each day, putting it out, that gets old. My arms grow 2 inches at the end of every season in length.
Yeah.
They get stretched out.
I was fortunate enough to I learned quite a bit about bears back before I was a guide. My That's one thing my wife wanted to do was shoot a bear. I said, all right, so we'll do a bait site. And, I talk about the moose hunter I had being picky. My wife watched bears for, I think, 7 years before she found one that she wanted to shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
7 years?
Yeah. I mean, not that we didn't have bears coming, but it's like, I didn't like the way that one looked. Yeah. And finally, she found one that she wanted to shoot. So we learned a lot about bears and bear behavior and how particular they are. They sense anything different. You can hear them on the outskirts, and they don't commit. So
of all the animals, bears fascinate me the most, probably of any animal.
yeah,
And like you can read their body language too. Like if you actually sit there and like you watch them and that stuff, like you can read the bear's body language. Like moose, those are the most unpredictable things you'll ever come across.
Yeah.
Like bears, like you can sit there and you look at a bear and tell like if it's bluffing or if it's like I'm coming at you type of ordeal. And they're smart. Like they're as smart as a whip. I mean, I don't know how many times like you go in and you pick the hunter up at night there and you get back in the truck and you go back and check the camera next day and literally a minute after you was there, 5 minutes max after you was there, the bear's laying there in front of the barrel eating. That bear didn't just come in and lay there on coincidence. That bear was waiting 30 yards out of sight.
Yep.
And he heard you guys leave and then he's just, all right, I'm going to come get a snack.
But it's like baiting a dog. You put down a dog dish, and dog comes running, right?
Yeah. Well, and look, I mean, I think whether they want us to kill, like, I think it's right around 4,000 bears a year the state wants us to harvest.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we're like 2,800, 3,000. Like, we're not even harvesting nearly what they want. The bear population is, I mean, I don't want to say it's exploding, but the bear population is quite healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a healthy population. But like I said, with my wife, she has thousands of hours of video, just of bears. Just why didn't you shoot that one? Oh, that one, he had a bald spot.
He had 4 hairs that would go in the wrong direction.
I mean, not that she was, but she just knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, she let some bigger bears go, and she passed on. She passed on a lot of smaller bears. And the one that she ended up harvesting was a big, old, dry sow. I think she'd come back. I think it was 14 years old, and she was around 220. So I mean, it was good to take her out.
That's about average for the size of bear. The average bear, I think, harvested in the state of Maine right now is like 136 pounds, 135 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not because we have small bear. That's because a lot of people don't do what your wife did.
Right.
A lot of people, like, that, like, the hunter stories for me are the best during bear season. Because, like, you'll walk in and, like, you shoot, yeah, we shot. Well, where is it? Oh, it went over there. How big is it? Oh, man, that thing is like 4 times the size of the barrel. Or, that thing's 600 pounds. We're going to need help. I'm like, I guarantee you weren't 600 pounds or whatever there. You walk over and, like, it'll be 80 pounds or 100 pounds. And look at that. And, like, the thing that makes me laugh the most is every year happens.
That ain't my bear.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't shoot that. Well, who else do you think shot it? You're the only one sitting here, and the thing is still warm. Like, you shot. Well, that thing looked a lot bigger than that. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So now, like, in a lot of our businesses, repeats there. And we give everyone handheld radios once we drop them off. So that way, if they do shoot, because we'll have roughly 25 hunters a week in camp. And we drop them off and give them radios, and if they shoot, they'll holler to whichever guide or whoever on the radio and they'll go pick them up. Well, now a lot of the repeats have been here to witness 90% of this stuff go on there, and you'll hear them come across the radio. You'll ask them, like, "Is it big?" Well, it must have been in a shadow, or they'll come up with something of that sort there, and we all know. We all just start laughing because we know that they underestimated what it was there. But it's just, I don't know. And bear is my favorite wild game meat. Like, I mean, if it's processed right, it is by far my favorite.
I'm not a big fan, but for me, I think a lot of it is psychological.
Psychological.
Because I can still remember as a kid, like, all these. Of course, we all used to have like dumps.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. Let's go to the dump, watch bears. The first thing you watch a bear do is rip into it like an old dirty diaper or something, and eat it. So, for me, it's like, but we haven't had dumps for 20 years. So
Yeah,
I'm sure they've cleaned up. So.
it's like pork.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
to me, it's like a pot roast. Like my wife will make a pot roast with all the fixings with the bear roast. And like when she takes that out, you could not tell whether that was pork or beef or what it was. Like it's just absolutely, it's delicious. But the biggest thing with bear though is the fat.
Yeah.
If you don't get the fat off, like all of our bears from the time they're harvested until they're processed is less than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we get them, we bring them back. The butcher comes, picks them up, and they are processed that day. And I think that has a lot to do with it too, because the longer that fat sits on it, the more rank the meat is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind it. I mean, I will definitely eat it, but it's like it's not my go-to.
You just picture that baby diaper getting destroyed.
That's all I can picture.
If I sit down and eat bear meat, and that's what I think of, you will be getting a phone call.
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, we haven't had dumps in 20 years, so you're all set.
Yeah. No, well, some of them bear could have been around 20 years.
Well, maybe, but
I mean, I think the oldest bear, I think on record, I might be wrong, it's like late 20s, early 30s. And I think it was one of the ones that Randy crossed there, the biologist.
Yeah.
He called it while he was in college, I think, and then I'm pretty sure like it was in the last couple of years it got shot or something like that. I remember him talking about it there a little bit at one of the.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he was.
He did a lot.
Randy did a lot for
He did
the
a lot.
bear. He sure did.
Even kid wise, he did a lot to get a lot of kids involved. When they go out, denning, there was always a couple kids that was able to go along, and that was.
He's got the personality for it.
He does.
That was sad to see him retire, but I think he's still got his fingers in the mix there a little bit now. I don't know if he subcontracts or what, but I think he's still a part of it because I see him around here and there.
Yeah.
You got anything else you'd like to touch on before we wrap it up?
Not really. I thank you for having me. I mean, I'm definitely a newbie in the game, but I feel like I'm here to stay, and I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Well, I got one last question for you.
Okay.
If you could give one piece of advice to a young couple or a young person or a woman or whatever they're starting out looking to get into it, what would it be?
Well, the advice that I would give is it'd be based on my experience. It's like if you want to be a guide, do it. Don't let life hold you down and hamper you, because it's a lie. You're always going to have time to be a guide. How much you want to put into it or how much business you want, I mean, that can come afterwards. But you always have time to be a guide, and once you're a guide, you can build off of that. The second part of that is find the old guy that's willing to invest time in you, because that is so valuable. Because if you try to do it on your own, I'm not going to say that you're not going to make it, but you're going to have a rough time of it. Because guiding, I don't think, was ever meant to be a lone wolf sport. It's based on knowledge that's been passed down forever, and it's a tradition, and that's how traditions are made. Stuff is passed down. So find the old guy that you like and that you want to spend time with, and they will grow you immensely.
100% agree with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, everybody, that concludes this episode with Pete from Chet's Camps down here in Grand Lake Stream. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you enjoyed what we just put on for you guys. And until next time, make sure you hit subscribe, follow along, and enjoy the rest of the year that we got for us this fall coming up. Get outdoors.